All right, Toby Dog, I'm leaving you in charge. Try to stay dry. Bye, farm.
Tonight, clouds, a few showers over the higher terrain, spotty in the valleys with a few breaks in the clouds, lows in the 30s.
So I'm leaving the farm for a couple of days. And I gotta admit, I'm kind of nervous about it. So yeah, that's right. I'm leaving the farm and I'm heading to New York. Like, I can't even think about the last time I was in New York. It was easily before COVID, but it's good to be here. I really love New York. So for about 4 years, I lived and worked in New York. And so I lived in Brooklyn, and the office I worked at was probably about 3 blocks right from here. So, you know, I would get here in Grand Central Station every single morning when I come to work. And I always get that rush, and yeah, I definitely have that rush today. Yeah, exactly. I decided I'm just not. So I was gonna try to cross the street and get to my hotel, which is just on the other side of the street there. But like the road's blocked off. That's why there's all these people here. I don't know if it's true, but I keep hearing people whisper that the president's coming. Well, that was kind of anticlimactic.
Replay, enhanced replay, slow-mo enhanced replay.
What do you want to tell Joe Biden right now?
What's up, baby? Take me out to dinner.
Well, that was kind of random. Yeah, that was the president that just drove by. Did you see it? Definitely don't see that sort of thing on the farm. Wow. Now this is the part of the video where I awkwardly pretend like I didn't just come in here to set the camera down. But yeah, check out this hotel room. Funky industrial shower.
A glass room to poop in.
So yeah, this is probably the point in the video where I explain how me, a farmer in Vermont, ended up coming down here to New York City all by myself. And yes, unfortunately, my wife Allison could not join me for this trip today. It kind of happened on rather short notice, and she had to work and she couldn't get out of work and get coverage. And so here I am all by myself in the city of Manhattan. I love looking out windows like this. I can do it for hours. Now, I'm actually not exactly sure if I can even tell you guys why I'm down here yet, but hopefully we'll be able to resolve that one by the end of this video. And also, I'll get to show you some of the things that I'm doing down here in New York while we make this here video. And don't worry about Toby Dog and Abby Dog and the barn cats and the ducks and the geese and the chickens and the cattle. My absolute favorite farm sitter is taking care of everything right now, and so they are in good hands. But I guess I should probably unpack, because I think I'm gonna be here for a little while. So I had a really great first night here in New York. I had dinner with some friends. I don't know, it was just kind of nice to have a change of pace, do something very, very different. And now today, it's gonna be a change of pace, and I'll be doing something very, very different. Of course, at this point in my life, I don't think I could get up in the morning and not somehow have birds to feed. really trippy. I did not expect to do this today. Oh, look at the helicopter.
So I spent most of the day at the Google offices. YouTube had invited me to come down with a whole bunch of other creators. They were hosting their first ever climate change summit for content creators, where we all got together to talk about climate change and how do we all collectively address the impending climate crisis. While I'm never a fan of sitting in rooms for meetings, it was pretty great to spend time with some very smart and talented folks. And I did learn a few very interesting things.
You're all gonna die!
It was a crazy day yesterday. It was a lot of fun, and while it was a hassle and it's stressful to leave the farm, I already feel like the trip has totally been worth it. So the crazy part was, after dinner, some friends and I were actually walking around Central Park, and then like all of a sudden, faint in the distance, I could hear a sound. And specifically, that sound was the sound of Metallica. Metallica is rehearsing just over there. That is insane.
I said, I'm gonna watch Metallica. I was like 8.
The first 4 Metallica albums are probably like some of my favorite music ever to be created. And I personally think that the Black Album was pretty darn good. Tonight in Central Park, Metallica is playing a concert. Last night, they were actually doing like a rehearsal and sound check. And me and my friends got to just sort of like stop and listen and enjoy like a private Metallica concert, which is the craziest thing ever. And so even though they were like on this gigantic stage in the middle of Central Park, there were like, I don't know, maybe 100 people there or something. It wasn't a lot, and it was crazy just watching Metallica rehearse. That's most definitely not something I will see on the farm every day. So yes, it has been absolutely fascinating to be here down in New York City. But I will admit, I do miss the farm quite a lot. And so specifically, I can actually like go on my phone and check my security cameras, and I can see Toby Dog just hanging out there. Like I can actually see him right now, and he looks pretty content. He's just napping by the gate. So I'm here with my buddy Joe.
What's up, guys? Joe Massini. Nice to meet you.
So Joe, what's your deal?
TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, whatever I can do.
And when you're making videos, what do you make videos about?
I make POV story videos and a little bit of fashion, so.
So fashion, like, all right, talk to me about that. Like, how's my fit?
Here we go. I'm not gonna lie. Liar. It's a pretty good outfit. Liar. You gotta show the t-shirt.
Yeah. So
You have to show the
I got the
t-shirt.
Toby Dog t-shirt, yeah.
It doesn't get better than that.
So Joe, how familiar are you with New York?
I'm here every single week. Every week, so.
You grew up in New Jersey?
Yes, correct. Grew
All
up
right.
in New Jersey, now I go to school in New York. It's my favorite city in the world, so. Nowhere else I'd rather be. I feel at home in New York, even though I don't live here. Once I graduate school, this is the plan.
How much time do you spend looking at pigeons?
I try and stay as far away from the pigeons as I can. They are not a normal bird in New York City.
Like, I think pigeons are one of the most important animals in New York, because if it wasn't for pigeons and if it wasn't for rats, this city would be 50 times filthier than it is today.
absolutely.
And we're gonna prove it. I'll let you do the honors, my friend. So you have an assortment of pastry to choose from. Which pastry do you choose?
So this looks like it's got chocolate in it. If I were a pigeon, I would want the one with chocolate in it.
The little ones are
like
great.
I told you, it's always gonna be the little birds first, because they actually need to outcompete the pigeons. So they're gonna come in. Then once a couple pigeons see it's okay. Now you have the swarm. For all of these birds, the finches, the pigeons, you know, essentially humans have become their food source. If they were living in the wild, you would find them eating seeds, you'd find them eating various berries and things that you find outdoors. because New York, I mean, short of Central Park here, like doesn't have like an ecosystem like that, humans have become their food supplier. They've taken a new role in the ecosystem where they're now kind of like the cleanup and sanitation system for the humans, so it is a symbiotic relationship there. The real problem with pigeons is they don't have predators, or they don't have a lot of predators.
I never thought of that. Yeah.
So, I don't know, one time I saw like a pigeon get hit by a taxi, but that's like extremely rare. The one predator that's coming in, and you might be able to see some nests, like if you look way up there, is the red-tailed hawk. So like the red-tailed hawk is a hawk that we even have around our farm, but it will nest up in buildings now.
Really?
And there's all sorts of reports that you'll see like on social media of pigeons getting killed by red-tailed hawks.
Really?
Which is actually necessary. Much like in the wild, much like on my farm, you find that there is just this relationship that exists between the wildlife, the humans, and the environment.
Yeah. Wow. So they'll be right up on buildings, huh?
Yeah. All right, so I'm out on Governor's Island right now, and we're gonna be looking at oysters. Now, oysters are playing a huge role also in the ecosystem of New York, because number one, they filter the water. But number two, having the piles of oysters in the lower parts of Manhattan's rivers and where all the water kind of comes together, that they make New York more flood resistant because of how the oyster reef is formed and what it can ultimately do.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, that's so cool. This is, oh! Okay, oh dang. That was a blue crab. That was cool, but they are vicious. Okay.
So the Blue Oyster Project folks put the oysters in these little crates because it lets them form clusters, which ultimately turn into oyster reefs.
Yeah. Do I just put it right here? Yeah, right on the ground. On the ground, okay.
Perfect.
Woohoo! Oh, that's so cool. Quite a bit of, okay, here. Finally, yay. Oh, wow, okay. So this is how oysters grow in the wild. Isn't that so cool? Yeah. See, they grow in these clumps. So imagine a wave coming and hitting this cluster of oysters. It's gonna have to work its way through these shells before it hits land. So you can see how the oysters grow. They grow bigger just by growing this like kind of fingernail surface. If you want to touch that, it's totally fine. It's a little sharp, but it's almost like a fingernail.
You know how mussels will have like different...
Yeah. This is just a shell. It's just one.
Whoa, creating the vortex.
Douane Riade. I think that's a French name.
Thanks a lot. Hey, hey.
How are we?
Good.
So y'all ready to hear some music tonight? Wish you didn't have to post it all.
So we were at the concert to watch the concert. There was also another reason why we were there too.
We're excited. We're ready to go. We're ready to be superstars. As long as there's no pigeons on stage.
You see, YouTube had invited all of us creators there to go up on stage during the concert and be a part of the celebration.
I am present. I am here.
Platforms like YouTube can be really helpful in creating content for engaging people. Yesterday, Global Citizen held its first ever YouTube Creators Summit for climate change. To connect with these incredible creators right here on stage at the summit yesterday, and we heard from leading activists and experts who explained how we can use our social platforms to amplify messages, and collectively create change. I think I can speak for everyone that I was super inspired. Thank you guys for everything that you're doing.
Now, I've been in front of large crowds before, but this was 60,000 people, and it was kind of overwhelming. But after the onstage cameo, we could all just sort of hang out and enjoy the concert.
Million lives.
But COVID-19 set us back. And so this year, we put out our most ambitious call for fundraising yet.
And without further ado, the greatest rock band in the world.
Did I go hoarse singing the entire set of Metallica? Yes. But would 13-year-old Morgan be proud of me? Also, yes.
But what will the critics say?
Oh, look at the fake farmer guy having fun at his little globalist concert. Meanwhile, he ignores his farm and has the gumption to tell us that we need to do something about climate change. My, someone sure does love the smell of their own farts, don't they?
They are not completely wrong.
Only kinda wrong. Look, this is by no means a perfect situation. Our world is facing an existential crisis that could mean the death and doom of us all. And so is getting a bunch of people together for a concert actually improving the globe and making the world a better place? Kinda maybe, but probably not really. But at the same time, the event produced by Global Citizen helped raise more than $2.4 billion to help address some significant global problems. And so despite the negatives, I'm gonna see it all very much as a net positive. And so yes, there's greenwashing that takes place, but at least they're taking steps and making an effort to try to make things just a wee bit better. Look, as we all try to do things to make this world a better place, we're gonna be imperfect. For example, one of the reasons I even started this farm in the first place was because I wanted to create a farm that was regenerative for the landscape. And at this stage of the game, 4 years in, I feel like I'm doing okay. I mean, there's certain things like our regenerative grazing that we're doing with our cattle that I think are wonderful. But at the same time, winter's gonna be coming, and I have to use diesel tractor fuel to feed hay to these cattle, and I have to feed them round bales that are wrapped in plastic, which is kind of awful and an ecological nightmare. But I'm continuing to work and build to make things better, which I feel is a very important thing to continue to do. And I think that that's all we really can do. And to the jabronis who are gonna be down in the comments section saying,
open up your eyes, man. They're trying to control global warming, telling Americans what temperature it's gonna be in our outdoors.
I will say to all of you that I believe we are 100% facing a climate crisis. And unless we all collectively take actions to try to improve the situation,
you're all gonna die!
That doesn't mean we have to be perfect. It just means we have to take steps to get better.
Hey, Gus, let's go. Come on, fresh grass, let's go. Hey, Gus, come on.
I hope you guys enjoyed riding shotgun for my New York adventure. It was a lot of fun, but I'm honestly really glad to be back here, home on the farm. If you're curious about how our farm uses cattle as a way to combat climate change, check out the video that I'm leaving right here. It'll show you something that you might not have known about before. Thanks for watching, everybody.